Former Dakota High School teacher and football coach Dan Sheets appears in court Thursday to face more charges of child pornography.
23 News reporter Connor Hollingsworth sat in on his court appearance. He joins us with the latest on those proceedings and also the new charges.
Sheets now faces 5 more counts of child pornography as well as unauthorized videotaping. Investigators say these crimes took place 4 years ago. Sheets was out on bond following his early August arrest on similar charges and a second round of charges filed August 3rd. Now, on Thursday, Sheets appeared via Zoom from the Stevenson County Jail. His bond currently sits at $500,000, but the defense asked for that bond to be lowered. The prosecution objected to this, and Judge James Hauser also refused to lower the amount, saying the state is entitled to advance notice. The prosecution also asked for Sheets' charge of unauthorized videotaping to be changed to a Class 4 felony, which Hauser accepted.
Fail to show up for your trial, you would be waiving the right to confront the witnesses against you in open court that is guaranteed to you under both the state and federal constitutions. Any such judgment and sentence or rendered in your absence would be just as binding upon you as it would be if you were there and actively participating in your trial.
Sheets' next court date is August 31st. He will be there for a preliminary hearing.
23 News also reached out to Voices of Stevenson County, one of the organizations in the area that helps support domestic and sexual violence survivors. Staff there say the door is always open and encourages anyone going through incidents of abuse to reach out for help.